Hey y'all, we need to talk. Remember how everyone thought Young Miami came out of the whole Diddy mess untouched? That somehow she walked away from that toxic cyclone unbothered and unbruised? Well, we were wrong. Dead wrong. Because now explosive new details are surfacing, and let's just say they're beyond disturbing. Turns out, according to her ex-boyfriend, Young Miami wasn't just a bystander in the chaos, she was a victim too, and what he's alleging, whew, it's chilling. So let's get into it. Now look, we all know Miami puts on a tough act. She's loud, brash, unbothered, and confident. But if you know Diddy's playbook, then you know nobody is safe. This is the same man accused of everything from blowing up cars to threatening to end full-grown men's lives. You really think anyone near him made it out clean? Apparently not, because her ex-boyfriend is now coming forward and claiming that Diddy messed Miami up bad. Physically, mentally, emotionally, you name it. And the receipts he's bringing, they're leaving the internet speechless. For a long time, people drag Miami for staying silent while the Diddy lawsuits piled up. Cassie came forward, multiple victims emerged, and Miami? She said nothing, not a peep. People called her complicit, called her a sellout, said she was protecting the man for clout. But now, the narrative's shifting big time because her ex is pulling back the curtain, and what he's saying paints a very different picture. And y'all, it makes everything we thought we knew crumble. See, at one point, Miami gave off serious Madame vibes. She came off like Diddy's favorite, like the queen bee in his twisted little hive. Remember Gina Hewen, Diddy's longtime side chick before Miami even came into the picture? Miami had the audacity to threaten her like she ran the whole operation. Y'all remember this? She tweeted, and I quote, "If I wanted you to eat my pee, Diddy would have had you on your knees. You, Agina. You've been down bad ever since I came into the picture. Crying for a baby for 10 years. You the B that eat pee and D when he feel like it. Same B crying on Tasha Ka cause you wanted a baby. Poor sushi." Yep, she said that on Twitter for the world to see. That's why so many people believed she was just as guilty as Diddy. And to make matters worse, she was even named in one of the lawsuits. One of Diddy's victims accused Miami of bullying her so badly while she was pregnant with Diddy's child that she ended up having a miscarriage. Let that sink in. Court documents claimed that in July 2022, Jane Doe was summoned to Diddy's house in LA. There, she was allegedly forced to ingest an unknown substance, later found to be ketamine or something similar, and she blacked out. Woke up bruised, disoriented, and traumatized. And this wasn't a one-time thing. It kept happening. Drugs, blackouts, waking up injured. She said Diddy would make her put on shows, get her drunk or high until she passed out, and she'd wake up sore and broken with no memory of what happened. Then it gets worse. She got pregnant. She told Diddy, and allegedly, that's when Miami stepped in. According to the lawsuit, Carisha Brownlee called her multiple times demanding she terminate the pregnancy. Then came the miscarriage, and then silence. So yeah, for a long time, Miami looked like a villain, but now it's not so black and white. Because according to her ex, Miami might have been both a participant and a victim. And this man is here to set the record straight. He says everything we thought we knew, we got it all wrong. Let's rewind. Remember when Lil Rod dropped that bombshell about Miami allegedly moving substances for Diddy? His court filing said plaintiff and the Combs Rico enterprise were rehearsing in Westville, Virginia. Plaintiff personally witnessed Mr. Combs do a few lines in his dressing room. Brendan forgot it, so Christina called Young Miami, who brought it on the private jet from Miami. At the time, everyone clowned her for being Diddy's personal drug mule, but according to her ex, she didn't have a choice. She had to do what Diddy said or there would be consequences. And honestly, that tracks. Because multiple people, former employees, ex-girlfriends, industry insiders, have all said the same thing. You don't say no to Diddy. If he tells you to hop on a jet, you hop. If he says jump, you say how high. If not, you pay. Sometimes with your dignity, sometimes with your body. And that's not even the darkest part. Remember when Miami said she liked golden showers? And she proudly said her and Diddy used to get into that? Yeah.
You got to.
It say take a shower if you like golden showers. I do.
Golden showers? Meaning when the guy pees on you? Pee on you everywhere? You like it?
I just like it.
You do?
Everyone clowned her. They went viral, memes, tweets, think pieces. She even tried to walk it back after Diddy got arrested. She tweeted, "I never said he was the one I did that with. Intimacy is a part of life. I'm grown. Maybe I talk about it too much. Some people get pooped on. Some live life on the edge. I watch pee videos. Girls get peed on. If we grown and in the house chillin', what's wrong with that? But now, That tweet reads very differently because, according to her ex, that wasn't some kinky choice she made. That was something Diddy forced on her. And suddenly it all clicks. Why she tried to deny it, why she backtracked, why she stayed quiet. She wasn't bragging, she was coping, pretending it was normal to avoid the humiliation of admitting she was forced into it. Just like Cassie. When Cassie testified, she said Diddy made her do freak-offs even while on her period, that he urinated on her against her will. She said it was disgusting. Traumatizing. She never wanted it. When the prosecutor asked, "Did you want to be urinated on?" Cassie replied, "No, I did not want it. It was too much. No one could think I wanted that." Then came the shocking twist. One of the escorts who testified, Cassie, said Cassie asked him to urinate on her. His quote from court, "Cassie was actually the one that asked me. She asked if I'd ever done it before. I said no. She told me to do it. But apparently I was doing it wrong. They both stopped me, told me to let a little out at a time. People thought Miami was running things. Turns out she was being run. And just like Cassie, she might not have escaped the violence either. Y'all remember that photo she tried to brush off as a household accident? She looked hurt, bruised, battered, but nobody pushed the issue. Now, it's looking real different in hindsight. Because when you line up the timeline, the silence, the sudden shifts in her behavior, it's starting to look like Diddy might have put his hands on her too. And now, hearing her ex say she didn't have control, that she was being used, manipulated, humiliated, it makes sense. All of it. It's wild, it's sad, and it's a reminder. Victims aren't always saints. Sometimes they do and say horrible things too. But it doesn't mean they didn't suffer. It doesn't mean they weren't trapped in hell. And honestly, this whole mess just keeps getting worse. Let's break it down, because folks still don't get how deep this really goes. Young Miami, the city girls queen who flaunted jets, diamonds, and yacht parties with Diddy, that whole life was a mirage. Behind the glam was a woman allegedly trapped in the same nightmare as so many others. Diddy didn't run a romance, he ran control, coercion, and silence. And now, with Miami's ex speaking out, we're seeing the truth behind her picture-perfect posts. This isn't some petty gossip. He's exposing real trauma. What Miami endured, how little control she really had, and how everything we mocked, from golden showers to jet deliveries, wasn't a choice. It was survival. Remember Lil Rod's claim that she flew in nose candy for Diddy? We laughed. But her ex says she had no choice, just like the other women who obeyed out of fear. Miami's name has been tied to awful allegations, bullying a pregnant woman who later miscarried and allegedly helping Diddy cover his crimes. But now we see a different side, one where she wasn't just complicit, she was cornered. That loud, fearless persona, a mask, a shield. She wasn't flexing, she was coping. And that infamous tweet about intimacy, that wasn't confidence. That was desperation, a cry for help disguised as boldness. She likely stayed silent out of fear and shame, because she knew that if she spoke up, people would drag her for her past, not understand her pain. But now her ex is speaking and the pieces are coming together. Just like Cassie, she might have been forced into acts she never wanted, and just like so many others, she didn't walk away clean. She barely escaped at all. And whether or not she ever speaks, her silence says everything. Sometimes victims make bad choices. Sometimes they hurt others, but they're still victims. Now that her ex has sparked the truth, we better be ready for what's coming next, because it's no longer about gossip. It's about survival. And young Miami, she might have been fighting for hers all along.